Jacob, could you introduce yourself? Tell our audience who you are and what you do.
Yes, my name is JacobRodman. I'm the CEO for Brown Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine Center.
Well, tell us a little bit more about your organization. Do you refer to it as BOSS?
We do. We use BOSS for short.
Right. That's a mouthful.
Pretty long.
Yeah.
And sometimes BOSS Center.
All right. So tell us about the BOSS Center and what you really focus on.
We are a practice where mostly comprised of orthopedic surgery, but we also have on-site physical therapy as well as pain management and rehabilitation. We refer to ourselves as a one-stop shop. Our patients expect to be treated here, and we want to give them as much as possible under our roof. That way we can ensure they're getting the right services.
Now, besides being the CEO of BOSS, as I understand, you're also a new president. Tell us about that.
I am. I'll actually be the incoming president for 2010 for the Triangle Medical Managers. We encompass mostly private medical clinics that range from your typical one-doc practices all the way up to 25 to 30 doctor practices.
Okay. Now, tell me about your technology and what was important to you. First off, who was supporting your technology before you came in contact with Joel Broadway and CMIT Solutions?
We actually had an in-house IT person that was full-time for our practice.
Well, you're a relatively small organization to actually have a full-time IT person. I guess the first question is, why not just replace the full-time IT person? Why go to an outsourced solution?
We had looked at that. We interviewed several candidates for the full-time position to replace it, and we just did not find any that met all the expectations that we had. One of our biggest concerns just came from some bad experiences with outsourcing the IT department, a lack of response and not being here when you truly need them, which was kind of our hesitation with going with CMIT or any outsourcing company for that fact. We originally started with the intention of keeping them on until we found a full-time solution to have in-house.
How did they compare in terms of having a full IT person with pension and benefits and all that good stuff?
Well, they're actually a lot cheaper.
Really?
They are. And
man, I got to tell them to raise their prices.
I know, they need to. Not for us, though, for other clients. It is cheaper. That's one of the things we worried about. We had in our mind that it was at least a 40-hour-a-week position, but the biggest thing they've been able to do is they've really automated a lot of our systems, which in turn has cut their time way down here. We used to go down quite often.
How often in a week might you have had troubles?
2 to 3 times each week it would happen.
Wow.
And it'd range anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour or 2 hours.
So now that CMIT has taken over, what's the result?
We don't go down at all.
Oh, come on now.
Not at all.
Really?
I promise.
That's a pretty amazing shift.
It is. Even the staff comments on it. And I think sometimes they just realize, hey, we haven't been down for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And it just became such a part of our lives that we got used to it. And now that we're not going down, it makes a big difference.
So what has this managed services and Marathon meant to you overall in running your business in terms of productivity, peace of mind, bottom line?
It's meant a lot of things. I'd say the most immediate impact is it saved a little bit of money, number one. Number two, it's given us a lot of peace of mind. We knew they were here. We knew they did a good job, but especially when the electricity went out over the weekend, they knew it before we even knew it. When they were here to fix it before really anybody got in the office. And it's just, you have a sense of comfort in knowing that they're watching over the systems, and not only that, but they have a high intellect when it comes to computers, and we're confident with that. And so when we go to them for suggestions, we take them strongly.
Right. So you mentioned saving a little bit of money. I mean, a little bit is a pretty relative term. Are we talking about $1,000 a year, 5, 10, 20? I mean, what do you think the overall impact financially, just on a purely numbers basis?
It would be tough. I'd have to do a little bit more calculations, but I'd say it's probably around $10,000 a year.
Wow.
That we saved, and my philosophy is if we can save $1 doing it, then we need to do it.
Right.
And
so you saved $10,000, maybe a year or more, plus got better service, your computer's not going down, and the doctor has better access. Other than that, what did you want?
Exactly. And the $10,000, that's just pure dollars and cents. If you account for employees' times and lost revenue for going down and all those things.
Oh, right.
That would add a tremendous amount.
How good are they as strategic advisors? It's one thing to keep computers fixed and running. A lot of people can do that, but not very many are able to really look at your business and really help you figure out how to make the business work better. And I understand they did a lot to allow Dr. Brown to really be connected to the office and for the staff to be able to work. Can you tell us a little bit about what they did there?
We had traditionally used a separate calendar for surgery scheduling and those type of things that the staff were sending to Dr. Brown a couple times a day, just so he would stay in the loop with any changes or surgeries that were canceled or added. And it was consuming. Basically, it was copying and pasting it, putting it in an email format, and emailing to him. One of the biggest things they've done is created a folder and a calendar where we can add things to it at any given time, and it automatically updates on his phone and his Outlook calendar. So it really has taken, not only are we saving time and money on the staff sending it to him several times a day, but he's able to pull it up and see it at any given time. We even have the ability to send x-rays that he can pull up on his phone.
Oh, my goodness.
If one of the PAs ever has a question in the office and he's in surgery, he can pull those up on his phone and zoom in to high detail, actually. So it's not only comforting for him, but it's also comforting for the PAs that we have in the office.
Wow.
They know at any given time they can get a hold of him, and he'd be available to answer questions.
So how responsive are they? I mean, how quickly would they call you back if you just called? I mean, not show up yet to fix it, but if you call them, how long are you going to have to wait? An hour, 2 hours?
I have never called them and not gotten an answer.
Wow.
So every time I've called, somebody's answered the phone. So I've never had to leave a message and wait for a response. Every single time that we've had to call, which hasn't been a whole lot, but every time we've gotten an answer.
So out of those times that you had to call, what percentage of the time could they actually fix it remotely versus having to come in? Because, the problem with coming in, it's obviously costly for them. They don't want to come in, but it's also costly for you because that means some clown's working on your computer and you can't do something. So how often have they been able to fix it remotely?
I would probably say 90% of the time.
Oh, wow.
And the other 10% has been we just relocated offices 2 weeks ago. And so, some things with hooking computers up, and they helped us with the move as far as reconnecting computers and printers and faxes. So some of those things, obviously, they have to physically be there to do.
Right.
But I would say everything that they've had the ability to fix remotely, they've been able to.
So tell me about Joel Broadway. What's Joel just like as a person?
He seems to be a great guy. We've really enjoyed working with him. And there was just something when I met him the first day at the Triangle Medical Managers, there was just something that made me feel comfortable calling him to help us out with our IT issues. It was just something about him.
Do you think he's a good business mind? I mean, beyond being able to do technology and maybe explain technology, I mean, does he really get it when he looks at your business and tries to figure out ways to actually help you make a profit, not just sell you the coolest, newest technology?
He does, and that's one of the biggest things we'd like. We feel like he really is looking out for us, where a lot of these guys are just trying to sell new products or get bigger and better. He's just kind of taking what we have and working with it.
And you mentioned that he has a tech that you work with. So what do you like about Jamie? What works well for Jamie?
I like the fact he understands healthcare. Working with doctors sometimes is tough for some people. They obviously demand perfection.
He's had a lot of practice with a dad.
He has, especially being an orthopedic surgeon as well.
Right.
So it's been nice. He gets it, and another thing, Joel gets it as well.
Right.
I think he's really trying to be involved in the healthcare world, and they both seem to get it.
Well, outside of Jamie's background and knowledge of doctors, what about just his skills as a techie? Have you been able to stump him yet?
Not yet. Not yet. Every issue we've had, they've been able to conquer.
So what last thing might you say to any business owner or maybe another medical manager? I mean, in terms of, I guess there's really two questions here. One, when should they consider going to an outsourced IT person as opposed to somebody inside? And then just why CMIT Solutions? Why Joel?
It's a tough question. We actually get asked that a lot. We are the faces and the picketers for in-house IT. and we really felt like it was important to have somebody here and on site all the time, and somebody that was on our payroll. We really felt that was important. And so after going with CMIT, and actually, like I said before, originally it was just a short-time deal until we found a full-time person, but going from that transition into a long-term arrangement with CMIT, it's one of those things. I think it can be evaluated at any point in time. I mean, I would urge people to evaluate it. It's nice having the safety and security of having a national company as your backup.
Right. So any last thing for them to know just about Joel or CMIT itself?
I would highly recommend both of them, Joel individually and CMIT individually, and the fact that they're together is even better.